Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to Learning the Ropes. I'm XLJ the OG, along with,
Mr. B-Roll.
and it is so great to be here with you on this Sunday night. Although I gotta be honest, I love you people so much, but my heart's a little conflicted tonight because my beloved Chicago Bears are playing right now against the Green Bay Packers. Yuck. So my heart's there, but my heart's also into this, and we got an amazing topic we're going to be talking about tonight. But as always, when we start off with learning the ropes, how about a little bit of plug-a-palooza for us, Mr. B-Row?
Yes, most definitely indeed. We are super stoked for tonight. I've honestly lost track of how many episodes we're doing. I think we're on seven? Seven?
I thought it was
Seven?
5 or 6. Who knows? But it's been awesome nonetheless.
And we haven't been canceled yet, so there you go. So what do we have coming up on Cole TV this week? Got a couple of things coming at you. A little bit of, this, a little bit of that. Um, if you enjoy watching people suffer, I mean,
Yeah.
let's be real. We went to a place called Pepper Palace. Yeah, I think it's
But that's our I'm Your
self-explanatory.
Huckleberry.
Yeah, we did an I'm Your Huckleberry, and we tried over, I don't know how many, God knows how many hot sauces. I, I mean,
Oh, at least 15.
at least 15. And we went all the way from the mild, or what they called mild, to the, I don't know, the stuff they have to keep behind the counter because it's illegal and stuff like that. But you know what it is. So that is a great episode of I'm Your Huckleberry. The worker there was super nice. Super nice. So make sure you check that out. That drops which day? What day does it drop? Can you hear me?
It's Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you. And then we also have our vlog special that will be on a where XLJ the OG goes to the drive-in. But let's hope he doesn't get
That's right.
stranded
It's
at the
one of my favorite
drive-in.
places to go here in Indiana. It's called Skyline Drive-In, and I went to this thing called the Monster Movie Fest. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty dope. I think you guys are going to like the plug, but that drops on Thursday, and that's what we got going on Cole TV this week.
Well, Celtic Story, thank you for hopping on over. I know you're Irish Red Blitz because we were talking in the live, so we're glad you made it over to the Twitch. Yes, and we got
And
Jack's
what up,
Bow
Jack's
in here.
Bow?
What up? How's it going? Just doing our first plug of Palooza. Also, we got to talk about our sponsor, Rootless Coffee. See how I did that? First try, pointed the right way. First try.
I did not.
Use code Panda Coffee to save 15% off all non-collabs, and you can even get the merch. So let's freaking go. Speaking of merch, why not get some Learning the Ropes merch or some? We wore the same freaking shirt. We didn't coordinate our outfits this week.
But I have a jacket on.
Whatever. Bears are gonna lose. Um, what is
How'd
up,
them
D?
Colts do today?
Oh, shut up. Um, anyways,
What's up, D?
go over to Sweet Dollface Creation. Check out the Panda merch. Check out the Wrestling Wolf Pack merch, the Self Bet merch, the Panda merch, on and on and on. Get yourself some merch, hats, t-shirts, whatever. And if you have found us here, we are on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel. If it's your first time, like Celtic Destroyer, we welcome you. We welcome you. Feel free to go ahead and hit that follow button, which I see Celtic Destroyer already did. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and subscribe. It will remove the ads. Plus, it helps us bring this wonderful product to all of you. Now, enough of hearing me
I have
talk.
it, Mr. B-roll. I have a special announcement. I'm sorry to cut you off here. A special announcement. Hambone, the Wrestle Talk Drip God, has entered the chat. Just throwing that out there. Sorry.
Yes,
Hi.
that is worth. Hambone was our guest last week. He did an amazing job. We talked all things FanFest, and he had his first show, Ego Drip. It was awesome. I tuned in for it. It was awesome indeed. Now, it's time for the main event. I wish I so desperately had like the Royal Rumble like entrance like countdown, but I don't. Introducing first, joining us
Three,
tonight
2, 1.
for our
It's
special.
okay. It's just your wife, bro. You're good.
Okay, thought it was a ghost.
Uh,
All right,
Hi,
introducing
Bray.
first. You said her name wrong again.
Bullshit. I thought it was. Oh, Bree. Fuck. I'm sorry. I always butcher. Okay. I've
Without
been
further
working all
ado,
day. Hey, we
let's
got a
bring
guest.
somebody on that does a podcast show with her. Let's bring in Dad Hat.
What's
How are
going
you
on,
doing,
guys?
good sir?
Good, good, good. Thanks for having me, fellas. I appreciate it.
I mean, it's been like what, like 7 weeks now, and he still can't say her name right.
I know. I mean, what the f, man?
Hey, I'll just say this. It took me about a couple years just to remember my wife's birthday, and I love her dearly. But so yeah, I'm an old man. So what can I say?
I feel you, man. I'm right there with you.
Hey, I think I honestly may be one of the youngest people in Panda Wrestling, and I'm 31, so and will be 32 soon.
Oh, you make me feel so old.
Oh, oh, Jack
You're a
Jack
young
Super says,
whippersnapper.
Dad Hat, we need a lock and loaded. Oh, oh man.
Starting off early.
It's starting early, going off the rails early, and that's okay. That is okay. Um, Dad Hat, we are so thankful that you were able to join us. Honestly, you were one of the ones I feel like I was rising through the ranks of Wrestle Talk with. Kind of feel like we came up together a little bit. Does
Yeah,
my
man.
heart good. And then now here we are, hanging out on a Sunday night, going to talk about some wrestling. And now, can I have another countdown, sir?
3, 2, 1. And oh,
Yeah.
The American Cream himself, Husky Rhodes, has joined us. And
Welcome,
now,
welcome, welcome. It is I, the prettiest fat man in the South, the AmeriCream Dream, Husky Rhodes, baby.
and he is a
Thank you
proud
guys so much for having myself and Dad Hat tonight
he is
here
a
on
proud
the Eclipse.
Hoosier.
hey
He is a
man,
proud Hoosier
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
we are so happy to have you. I mean, you guys equal ratings. I mean, hopefully we get a couple chicks that slide into your DMs like last night. So
Hey. Husky is the sweetheart and the teen heartthrob of Wrestle Talk.
Hey,
Dad Hat one day in our Snapchat was like, you know, you're the biggest baby face in wrestling TikTok, right?
Yeah. I was like, you
And I
realize
was
that,
like,
right?
I don't know how to feel about that. And yet, of course, I'm sleeveless ham bone. I live in the deep south. It's still like over 80 degrees. My big ass is not going to be wearing sleeves.
or he's
No,
just
thank
trying to
you.
impress the ladies.
Yeah,
No,
seriously.
God, no.
Is
God.
this-
I mean,
is this
that's
a
only
rest-
like the fourth time that you've gone like, ugh.
Well, I worked out back today, and I'm like sore as shit.
Yeah. Is this a wrestling show? Is it a dating show for Husky? The world may never
Oh
know.
my God.
That was last night.
Please, no. I can't go through that again. That was so weird.
I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna personally invite her to every show you're.
Oh, no, please don't.
Well, with the characters we have on here, you probably have a good idea of what we may possibly be talking about. Plus, we've talked about it like all week. So if you follow any of us on TikTok, you know what we're talking about tonight. But if you don't, let us introduce you. But before I say that, if you're not following these two down below me, make sure you're following them. And we're got to get Mr.
what's wrong
Triple
with you?
J, the OG, up to 1,000 and
I
all
don't know how
that
that's not
jazz.
even happened yet. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Well-
understand it.
He's still a baby. He's still a baby in the Wrestle Talk world, so he's learning to walk, but he is the wrestling encyclopedia himself.
We're
He's
gonna
just
get
new
you
to
there,
Wrestle
brother.
Talk.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, we are talking about none other than that is right. Talking a little ECW. And with that, this Plug-a-Palooza is now officially over. Only took me 10 minutes and 25 seconds. But, you know, take it away, Exote the OG.
You got us there. It's all good. It's all good in the hood, G. So,
There was a lot
well, you
a
know
lot of plug
me,
in there.
I'm a stickler. So I'm a stickler for a good origin story, of course. So, like, I got to start off with the origins of ECW. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but ECW initially actually started in 1990, believe it or not. It was actually Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. And then in 92, the company got sold over to Todd Gordon. We all know Todd Gordon. Love Todd. Well, maybe not love, but in 92, and it became Eastern Championship Wrestling. And then from there, right around 93, because at that point, Eddie Gilbert was booking for them. And Eddie Gilbert left the company. Todd Gordon had brought in Paul Heyman to essentially become the booker. Well, and the rest, they say, is history. And Mr. B-Roll pointed out something very interesting to me earlier today about today's date. Why don't you tell us about that, buddy?
Yes, and I told Husky earlier, too, while we were in the live.
Yeah.
But I was rewatching the Rise and Fall of ECW over on the Peacock. No, they do not pay us. But,
Fuckers.
yeah. Let's be real. We ain't going to get paid by Peacock. We would get kicked off of Peacock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you
Yeah.
have not checked
Yeah.
out
Me.
the Rise...
Both of us, we would get kicked off.
Yeah,
In a
there,
heartbeat.
there, that way.
If you have not checked out that documentary, it is one of probably the best wrestling documentaries, in my opinion.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it is very well
I
done.
agree.
Nah.
Well, you think about it this way, that documentary, the reason the whole resurgence of ECW essentially started was because of that documentary, because it sold so much damn copies of the DVD.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was like their highest selling DVD for a while, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Which made them do the rise
It
and
was,
fall
yeah.
of WCW, which did not do as well.
Right.
Yeah, but
Didn't do
towards
as
the
well,
very-
but I enjoyed that one myself too, but not quite as good as ECW.
Yeah, I liked it
Yeah.
too.
But
Yeah,
what about
so
today's date,
towards-
Mr. B-Roll?
towards the very beginning of that video, Paul Heyman's talking, and they're talking about how, and help me with the names, the booker and the owner had a falling out.
Yeah, it was Todd Gordon and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Thank
Who
you,
was
thank
the
you,
who
thank
was
you.
the booker?
Mhm.
And remember, if you don't know by now, we call this show Learning the Ropes because I've only been a wrestling fan for less than a year, so I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, nobody knows everything.
But we're getting you there.
We're here to learn you some stuff.
Here to get some learned to did. Anyways, they had a falling out, and the owner asked Paul Heyman to step in and maybe like kind of take over some of the booking. The first show that Paul Heyman booked, he says the next big show they had coming up was on September 18th. And I said, as we were in the live, I was like, "Hey Husky, what's today?" September 18th. So how fitting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we
How
are,
appropriate.
we are having a show about ECW on the 29th anniversary of the Paul Heyman era of ECW starting.
Which is, to me,
And-
the only
The
era
only
that matters.
Right.
Yes.
absolutely. 100%.
And this was not done intentionally, like we've said, because we actually tried to get this going a couple weeks ago. And scheduling. And
Well,
this
even
and
before that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and apologize now. I hope you guys can see me because it's like I'm catching every other word you're saying. So I hope I'm coming across okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good. Because my equipment here is a piece of shit apparently. But anyways, hey, hopefully we don't blow a fuse like barely illegal or something, and we lose everything. You know, at least the last second up until we go off the air.
Right. Yeah, we're good.
Uh,
good.
So first thing I want to ask you guys What was your very first memory of ECW? Like, very first memory ever. First time watching it, you came across it, you're like, whoa, what is this?
I mine kind of went backwards. I mean, I live and have most of my life, other than being gone for like 10 years, in and around the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And so for me, WCW, I was a WCW guy. Like I love WCW. But I mean, I'm a big NWO fan and everything. But I found Raven in WCW. And then one of my friends was like, "You're just now finding out about Raven?" And I was like, "What do you mean just now finding out about Raven?" And he was like, "Okay, we're going to the mall this weekend. Bring money, bring a lot of money." And I'm just like, "What's about to happen here?" And there was a kiosk at the mall that would sell. They had Japanese DVDs of wrestling. They had
Nice.
or VHS. They were VHSs.
Tilda.
I'm dating myself now. But like they had Japanese stuff, they had ECW stuff and everything, and it was the only place that I could find it because this was pre, internet, pre. I mean, I was like, I always joke with my friends that I've known most of my life. I'm like, I was the last guy that had have the internet. Like I remember, like I didn't have the internet till I was like a senior in high school. Um, but like, I bought. He was like, "You're buying this, and you're buying this, and you're buying this," and he's like, "You don't have any money. I'm buying you like these three other things." So I went home with like just tapes of ECW, and I just sat down and watched. And from then on, I was like, "Why have I never heard of this before?" But it was because of Raven, and that's probably why I'm such a big Raven fan to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. Love Raven.
Nice. So it's funny you say that because, like, my wife's not really into wrestling at all whatsoever. But I've
Right.
showed her some stuff over the years, and she kind of picks up on and say. And one of her favorite promos of all time is Terry Funk and Raven right before Barely Legal. And Terry Funk's sitting in the corner of the locker room looking up at Raven, and then Raven's beat the shit out of him. And he looks up to him and he's like, "Quote the Funker, nevermore, you piece of shit." She quotes that to me all the time, and I
Yeah.
fucking love her for it.
That's
So,
awesome.
I have a Raven tattoo. I mean,
Really?
fuck yeah.
yeah, it's on my back. You can't see it, but I mean, it's literally just a Raven that says "Nevermore" underneath it, and it was
Oh,
two-part.
nice.
It was two-part. It was for wrestling, but also like I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan anyway, so it was for that. But because I love to read, but like it's Raven.
There
Nice.
you go.
Very nice.
So, what about you, Husky? What was your first ECW memory?
I remember I think I was like the third grade, and I was sitting in school, and I had like some sort of wrestling like comic book deal, and this guy comes up and goes, "Oh, you like wrestling?" It's an older kid. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "Do you know what ECW is?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" He's like, "Oh, dude, it's awesome. They hit each other with cookie sheets." And I was like, now you're 9 and you hear something like this. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, I have to figure this out. So I went, and it was channel 53 in Indianapolis, the public access channel. They had it on Sunday nights at 5
Nice.
o'clock. And I remember tuning in, and it was November to Remember 95. It was right around that time when Sabu came back after being suspended.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because the first image that I see of ECW is the lights going out, the lights coming back on, and Sabu standing in the ring, and with Paul Heyman like freaking out, and Sabu standing there giving the point, and I'm like, okay, what's this guy? Like, what's this about? And then the next thing I see is New Jack hitting somebody with a trash can, and I was like, I'm in. I'm in. Like, this is amazing. I'm in. And I've been hooked ever since. And fun fact, I was actually at the ECW show in Indianapolis where Taz and Mike Awesome
beat Awesome.
Yeah, where Taz and Mike Awesome had that match. I was there at the Egyptian Room at the Murat Theater.
A
Egyptian
WCW
ring.
contracted wrestler fighting a WWF contracted wrestler
WWE.
for the
Yep.
ECW championship.
Yeah, wrestling for the ECW
You'll never
title.
see that again.
Never.
And like Mike Awesome came in, Taz got in the ring, tapped him out. Mike Awesome no-sold it, hopped the railing, went out the front door, and bounced. Because he literally just,
That was it.
in the contract, he was like, he can't really take anything, so he just has to go in there, lay down, basically, drop the belt, and immediately get out. Yeah, that was the pre-forbidden door, forbidden door.
Yeah. That's funny you say that because I actually kind of had a story about that night. I was trying like hell to convince my parents to let me go to that show. I think at the time I was like 16 and like it was a school night, you know. I think wasn't it on like a Wednesday or something like that?
Yeah, it was middle of the week.
I know it was on a school night.
Yeah, it was like the middle.
Yeah, it was middle of the week. It was just like, and ECW didn't really come to Indy. I mean, that may have been one show or maybe a couple.
There was like one or two,
but
they did in the later years.
Yeah, exactly. But I just remember begging to go to that. Like, no, you can't go to school. And I was like, oh man, that was like one of my biggest regrets in life is not being able to go to that. But that's awesome as hell. You got to go to that,
dude. That was so cool.
So for me, my first introduction to ECW, I remember it like yesterday. I was a 10-year-old boy. I was staying up on a Friday night because, you know, that's what we did, right? So I'm a big wrestling fan, and I'm like flipping through the channels. And then I come across this wrestling ring. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because all I know is really WWE and WCW at this point. You know, I don't know that there's other promotions on television. So when I tune in, 10-year-old me sees the angle where Shane Douglas and Raven are in the ring getting ready to fight. And then Tommy Dreamer comes out with Beulah. Franchise has Kimona with her. And he's talking about, it's not a he, Tommy. And then it's like, then they go into like Kiss, and then it goes to black. And 10-year-old me, like, my mind is fucking blown. I'm like, what is this? Like, I have to watch this all the time.
This was also the moment where XLJ went through puberty, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where he what's going on down there?
and at that moment,
the night I became
and
because I'll take them both on hardcore. But I remember watching it on Prime Sports, where I first discovered ECW, which was like a ripoff of ESPN, pretty much. It's like a poor man's ESPN. But every Friday night at 1 o'clock, they would have ECW on. And I just remember like putting my VHS tape in and recording every damn Friday night at 1 o'clock, man. I was hooked ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Who knew 20 years later you have it on demand?
Yeah, exactly.
No kidding, right?
Yeah, 20 years later.
The original music.
Yeah, the only problem is not the original music, because Paulie was like, you know what? We don't care. We're going against the grain here. We're gonna use licensed music, not care. What are they gonna do?
Well, if you watch that Rise and Fall of ECW, every other thing he says is, "My dad's an attorney. My dad's an attorney."
Yeah, literally. I've been sued more times than Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Paul. Yeah, Paul just didn't give a fuck. But like he said, like it's like, what's the worst that could happen? You know. Well, as we get down further on this rabbit hole, I think we first and foremost got to talk about some of the icons of ECW, some of the greats of all time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's apropos. We got to talk first and foremost about the heart and soul of ECW. One Tommy Dreamer. There he is.
There he is.
Dude, Tommy Dreamer, what a fucking amazing human being. Like, I tell you what, I've always loved Tommy. I loved his stuff. I loved watching him in ECW. I loved watching him in WWE when he was working there. Yeah. When he works in Impact, even still to this day, I love Tommy. But I tell you where, like, really I appreciate him all the more is him on Busted Open. If you guys ever get a chance to listen to him on Busted Open, it just goes to show you he's one of us. He's a fan at heart.
Oh yeah,
And that's the thing I think I love the most about Tommy Dreamer.
Oh yeah, he's.
But I know you,
neck
Mr.
deep.
B-Roll, he's probably your favorite outside of Rob Van Dam, right?
He's one of my faves. He's definitely one of my faves. He's probably my favorite one out of like the special hosts they have on Bust Open. He's definitely the one I like to hear the most. Most of the time, I feel like arguing with Bully Ray. So, you know,
that's just a thing because Bully just says some out of pocket shit sometimes, and you're just like, come on, buddy.
Bully's my favorite on it. I'm just like, it's a Bully day. Cool, I'm good. Let's.
And if we could go off on just a small tangent, I don't know who listened the other day where Mark Henry called in, and he was like, I feel insulted that you call the WWE's version of ECW a watered down version, which I get what Bully was saying.
Yeah, because Mark worked there. I mean, man, I respect Mark Henry. I love Mark Henry too. But Bully's not wrong. I mean, it was what it was. ECW was. It wasn't ECW.
It was not.
Like, it stopped being ECW after the first one night stand, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
But that was okay. You had the great send off there. But anything after that, it wasn't the same.
True.
But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Tommy Dreamer?
I mean, there would not be an ECW without Tommy Dreamer. Same of
all he did.
Yeah. Same with Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without those two, there would not be an ECW.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, go ahead, guys.
It's amazing all the stuff Tommy did behind the scenes too, and kept that company together for so long, kept that locker room together for so long. When by all rights, like, guys probably wanted to get the hell out of there because they weren't getting paid. But like, for Tommy to do what he did, it just goes to show you like how much he loved ECW.
Oh yeah, like he was steering that ship while Paul was going batshit crazy at the end. And like, he did all the merchandising stuff, like he talked about in the Rise and Fall. Yep. Him, Devon, and little Guido were just taking all of the merch to the shows, taking all of it back to their warehouse from wherever they were going from, like in a U-Haul, beat up, bandaged up because it's ECW. Somebody's bleeding. Like, let's just be real here. And if Devon's in there, it's probably Devon, because Devon probably had a match with New Jack, so he's probably cut up. So yeah, like, you say what you will about Tommy Dreamer, you have to put some respect on that man's name for how hard he rode for ECW.
Yeah, and I mean, and you look at ECW, that is a bloodthirsty, violent crowd that wants as intense of a violent show as they can get. And you've got who they refer to him as the heart and soul for a reason, because he was always a babyface. He was always like he even said, like, he wishes that he had never won the ECW title. He should have never had that title. But
he should have always chased it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Tommy Dreamer is if there's no Tommy Dreamer, there's no ECW.
There's no ECW. It's as simple as that. I couldn't agree more. And along with that, with Tommy, we got to talk about the hardcore icon himself, Sandman. I mean, Sandman, Sandman. Oh my God!
If you didn't hear the story that Zach Monstar told about Sandman on our show, it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Don't you hurt me. You're fucking huge.
I remember that.
Oh my God. And like, when he was telling me that, I'm just hearing it in Sandman's voice, so it just makes it that much funnier. But yeah, like, Sandman, with like what Paul Heyman mentioned in that thing, it's like, he's not a conventional wrestler. He's just a tough dude looking for a fight, and people loved it. And then he started out in the real early 90s with that, like, the surfer gimmick.
Yeah.
Came out in like scuba
Deep
gear.
blonde hair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, this isn't getting over. This isn't getting over. And he's like, he talks about it in the Forever Hardcore documentary, if you haven't seen that.
Which is a great documentary, too.
Yeah. Big thank you to Jeremy Borash for making that.
Yeah.
He talks about, he's like, they just let me be Hack. So it's like, I'd be sitting there like smoking a cigarette backstage, and Todd Gordon was like, let him go out with a cigarette. And then he'd be sitting there with a 30-pack of beer. He'd be drinking beer all night, and it's like, fuck it, let him take beer to the ring. So he had them Zubas fold up with like a 6-pack of Bud Heavy Tall Boys and just storming through the crowd with a Singapore cane already hammered. Like, that guy's a maniac. And he's bleeding before he gets to the ring because he's smashing beer cans on his head.
Yeah.
Like, you see that in that time frame, and you're just like, what is this? They're getting away with doing this? Like, this is insane.
And that's why it was so appealing to find it as a kid or a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that crowd, like, the crowd made it.
Yeah.
Like,
It was a
his
wrestling
entrance
metal
was
show.
through the
That's the
crowd.
best way to
Like,
put it. It's a wrestling metal show.
It really is, yeah. And like, because they talk about it again in that Forever Hardcore thing. Gabe Sapolsky was talking about it. It's like with the stuff with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert when he was booking, because Eddie's a Memphis guy, and he was trying to do all this like 80s Memphis stuff in Philadelphia, and they were just like, they were not having it. They're just like, this is not good. No. And then Paul Heyman took it and was like, yeah, these people want some craziness. He's been to a Flyers game or two. They beat each other up when they win.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's give these people something crazy. And then you give them Public Enemy and Sabu and Tommy Dreamer and bringing in like Raven and Sandman. Like, you got to give Philadelphia something crazy.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman did it.
Oh yeah. So I've got a hot take. I'm going to throw this out there. I think you guys will agree with me, possibly. The two best entrances in all of professional wrestling of all time, Undertaker and the Sandman. In my opinion,
As far
the
as
two
like,
greatest ones.
as far as mainstream wrestling, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
without a
I
doubt.
don't think that's too hot takey.
No, like.
Eh,
No, the Sandman's entrance, especially in the ECW arena.
Yep.
Like, you hear Enter Sandman start, and everybody starts looking around. Like, where's he coming from tonight? Where's he coming from? Then all of a sudden, you see like the crowd just start peering around to see. He sticks the cane up, and the crowd goes insane.
Yep.
So good.
And
I mean, the
it
closest
evolved too. Like, he would
Yeah.
come out, and not only is he drinking the beers, he's pouring beer into somebody's mouth, or there's a woman in the audience with really really low cut shirts and just pouring it on her chest. Trying to be PC here. That I am a dad, and trying to keep PG for a reason. But yeah, and I mean, his entrance evolved when it didn't even have to.
Right. Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't need to, but it still did. Like, I love the fact that he kept it interesting, and like fucking with random people in the crowd. You know, like, it's like, oh, this guy, what's up, yo? And just dump the beer on this guy's head, pull out another one. He's got like 2 cigarettes in his mouth because he's hammered and forgot he had the other one. He's in Flavor Country. What up, Mike?
Mike in the house. It's Austin's entrance before
The-
Austin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
So, and as far as modern day, I'd say the closest to it would be Nick Gage.
Yeah.
I mean, when his music hits, fucking GCW, they go fucking nuts.
Dude, yeah, and also, what is it with people using Metallica as their entrance music that gets people just going batshit crazy? Because like,
It's
when
Metallica,
For Whom the
I guess.
Bell Tolls hits at a GCW show, it's literally takes you back to 95 ECW.
Yeah.
And like, when he just comes bolting through the crowd, and everybody's just like piling on top of him, and he literally has to fight through the crowd to get to the ring. Like, that's insane. You
And
know
they're
that man's
chanting
got
3
weapons
letters.
on him.
Yeah.
Why are y'all doing this?
MDK.
It's MDK.
All fucking day, baby. Sorry to that. So a name you mentioned earlier, we got to talk about the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu. Talk about a guy that was so ahead of his time. It's not even funny the stuff Sabu was doing back in like '93 and stuff. Just stuff that was unheard of. I mean, I was watching the other day. It popped up in my feed some footage of where he had a dark match on Raw in '93. And it's just crazy. He's not holding anything back. He's getting his shit in, jumping off the ropes, doing dives over the ropes. I mean, it's just amazing what he could do and for how long he did it for too, considering all the freaking pain he put his body through. I mean, my God, that guy was nuts. Taping up your bicep that's freaking exposed. Holy shit.
Not only doing that, you're doing that and still wrestling a match.
Yeah.
Like, that's unreal. That guy is crazy. And then like he was doing all that stuff way before ECW too. Because he was doing that shit over in FMW in Japan.
Yeah.
Like having crazy barbed wire matches with Hayabusa. And
that infamous where the fire like they literally had to shut it down so much because the flames were so bad.
Yeah. Because the Sheik was in that match, that Inferno match they had in FMW. We were talking about that last night a little bit, actually. Yeah, like
nice,
terrifying, like absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
and seeing like if you go back and watch like early ECW, like when Sabu like first came out, and he was like, after he would lose, he would grab the table and he's moonsaulting through the table with no one on it.
With nobody on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about it and he's just like, yeah, it hurts way more when there's nobody on the table. Like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like, you're doing a moonsault and landing knees first on a wooden table. Yeah, that's not going to feel good, brother. And then, like half of it breaks and he's just like, oh, nope, I'm not done. And just jump through the other half. It's like, what are you doing, my guy?
Yeah.
Like, get it. You're mad that you lost and you have a crazy gimmick where they bring you out on the, like,
Hannibal Lecter thing.
The Hannibal Lecter mask and the straight board.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, Sabu, God, man, I can't, like, I remember when, like, Sabu, like, and he worked pretty much everywhere, really, if you think about it. I remember, hell, he worked in our hometown here in Columbus, Indiana. He worked at our freaking bowling alley when I was, like, 17. He had a match. And I remember going to that just because I was like, I got to see Sabu. And, I mean, he didn't hold nothing back, too. He was going against a local guy. But, I mean, he got – it was fucking awesome.
Nice. Very nice. I've played some shows in Columbus, Indiana.
There you
Back
go.
in my band days. Played at the Crump Theater like twice.
You know, as long as I've lived here, I've never been in the Crump Theater.
It's an interesting place. It's an interesting place. At least it was when I was there in like 2007.
I think I'm frozen. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Brother.
You're good.
You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, mine keeps messing up on me again. So,
it's just the beauty.
You mentioned Sabu, and the same thing. You got to talk about the whole fucking show. Rob Van Dam, Mr. B-Roll, your favorite wrestler from ECW.
Most definitely, indeed.
So what was it that you like about RVD so much? Like, why was it you gravitated towards him out of everybody in ECW?
I mean, honestly, you know me. I love high flyers. And just some of the things he did creatively. And honestly, like, the feud with him and Sabu is probably, if it's not my all-time favorite feud, it's definitely up there. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the stuff that he did with Jerry Lynn.
The new effing show. Oh, my God.
Any match.
Literally.
Any match between those two.
Yeah, anytime that it could be a singles with them or a tag involving them. anytime that those two were in the ring, it was gold.
Yeah, they never had a bad match.
No, never. And like, yeah, what is there not to like about RVD? Exactly. The fact that he's still doing a lot of that stuff today. Like, he just wrestled up in Minnesota at the Mall of America, First Wrestling.
Against Dante.
Against your boy Dante, yeah.
Another one of my faves.
Dude, I saw the match card for that, and I was just like, yo, like, I'm so stoked for Dante Martin. Like, that's a huge look for him. To be somebody like Dante Martin who's doing some crazy innovative stuff as far as high flying goes, to go up against a legend, a Hall of Famer in this business, like, that's I'm so happy for that kid. And I saw clips of that match, and it's wild that Rob Van Dam is in his 50s and can still do some of that shit. It's not like he's not doing the 5-star as high in the air, but he's still nailing it, and he's getting like the full extension on it and everything. Like,
you can thank Katie Forbes for that, probably.
Yeah.
Well, that, or I want to know what strain he's got.
Well,
I mean, he does sell his own CBD.
Yeah. You got like Dallas a CBD.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh man.
Well, one of my favorite ECW originals, probably the guy I first really like gravitated towards and like was like, okay, this is my guy. I was all about the human suplex machine. I loved Taz. Would come in and beat the living hell out of you in moments. Just all of his suplexes. Oh, hey, that wrestling lady. What's up? Man, I loved watching his. And when I came in and started watching ECW, it was when Paul was having him do that Ultimate Fighter gimmick. And I'll never forget, he had a match actually against Paul the Polar Bear Farlands, who was a UFC fighter. Yes. And like a big dude, like 6'7", 6'8", like 300 pounds probably. Yeah. And just Taz pretty much just manhandling him. It was like, holy crap. And just the feud, the build-up, the anticipation to Taz and Sabu. And that backstory there, too, with them being partners and them not touching for a year pretty much. Yeah. Oh, my God, I love Taz.
The whole angle that they played out when Sabu double booked himself and took a tour of Japan and got fired from ECW, and Taz basically just like calling him a coward for a year, choking people out and calling him Sabu. Like, just, it was brilliant storytelling. And then right before Barely Legal, lights come out, lights go back on. Taz and Sabu are standing face to face in the ring. And like, you hear that crowd, you could feel it from your house. The crowd was just like, that building was vibrating.
Insane. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about just that visual. It's so
And the
good.
chef's kiss for that moment is right when they're going to go collide. The lights go out again. It teases you. And then it's like, oh, buy the pay-per-view. But man, such a freaking awesome moment. God, I love Taz. Celtic Destroyer's got a good one too. 911, man, as Paul Heyman's heavy, just coming in, choke slamming guys. Like, he kept it simple, kept it basic, but I love some 911. And then when Taz went up against 911 and choked him out, just made Taz all the more the legitimate killer.
Ran 911 completely out of ECW.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then he got the rub, of course, from the one, in my opinion, the best big man ever, Bam Bam Bigelow. Like,
yes. The matches he had with Bam Bam. Oh God, brilliant.
Oh my God,
brilliant.
And, I mean, you'll never forget, and like the spot's been duplicated several times, but it's never going to be the same when Bam Bam put Taz through that ring. I mean, it was just so unexpected and so shocking, and you're just like, oh my God.
See, I like that one, but I like the DDT through the ramp a little bit better.
Because that match,
DDT through the ramp was very nice,
and their
it was very nice.
That match had another crazy spot that like messed Taz up for a while is when he does the T-bone suplex off the rampway into the crowd, and he lands the back of his head on the railing.
Yeah,
That is
hits
a
the
nasty
back of
spot.
his head. Yeah.
Boom! It's like, oh my god! Like you could tell, like for the rest of that match, he's just like, brother, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. Oh yes. Thank you, Hambone. That is one person we definitely do need to bring up, and that is the franchise Shane Douglas.
So good on the mic.
Literally.
That was the next one I wanted to bring up too, was Shane Douglas. I think Shane. We talk about all these greats, but for whatever reason, it always feels like Shane Douglas just doesn't give nearly enough credit that he should get. I mean, for God's sakes, if you don't have him winning that NWA title, throwing the belt down, and pretty much declaring the ECW a world title, I mean, I don't think ECW takes off quite as fast as it did.
No, it set your tone real quick. Like, this is what this is going to be about.
Yeah, basically, we're burying the NWA. We're breaking off, cutting all ties in front of Dennis Coraluzzo, in front of like all the NWA heads, just watching this guy win this tournament and then completely just deface our belt and just like bury the company, shoot on everybody that's ever held the NWA title, and then walk over to the corner and grab this new belt
while praying to his father in this promo at the same time.
Yeah.
While literally saying to his recently deceased father, it's like, this is it tonight, Dad. Yeah. Like, and he talks about that in an interview. He's like, basically when I said that was going through my head is, should I actually go through with this or not? Yeah. And luckily he did, because otherwise I don't think we would be having this conversation.
No.
We'd be talking about some random NWA in Philadelphia that was only around for a few years or whatever.
I love too, like the aftermath of that. Coraluzza, they're talking to him, and he's just like, it's a cluster, like, Shane Douglas is the champ. He threw the belt down. I don't know why. It's just like he's so discombobulated. He's just like,
scrambling. Yeah,
well, that's a good point. I feel like does have a bad reputation that follows him, and that's why he's not talked about. Yeah, but he was damn good, man. He was phenomenal on the mic. Excellent promo, very crisp in the rings, and you gotta love the triple threat, man. Yes. I mean, the triple threat was all interpretations of the triple threat was awesome. All awesome guys that they worked with. I tell you one feud that I really enjoyed from ECW, and you talk about like monster heel stuff. Shane Douglas against Pitbull #2, the stuff he did with the Pitbulls. Oh my God! With Halo on Gary Wolf.
Yeah, when he broke Gary Wolf's neck with that DDT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and like Gary talking about wearing that halo. He's like, yeah, that was a shoot. Yeah. I went in. He's like, the boys mess with me. They hung their jackets around my head. But like, he's like, dude, I've never experienced heat like that when Shane grabbed the halo and shook him around. He's like, I've never experienced things like that. He's like, they had people jump at the guardrails trying to get at Shane. And Shane was talking about it. He was just like, Francine and I had to run through the crowd. And he's like, I remember a story about Piper talking about working in Portland and getting stabbed. So he's like, I immediately stopped and was like, am I good? Am I good? All right, we're good.
Yeah, I love that storyline. Yeah. But some other guys, we talked about him earlier. Raven. Fucking Raven.
Every storyline is poetry. No pun intended. But I mean, with Raven, I love the storyline with the Sandman and the kid. Love that. Mm-hmm. But to me, Tommy Dreamer and Raven. Because to me, that is a feud that you look at ECW, that feud has extended for decades. You go through ECW, And you end up all the way towards the end of ECW with TNN, where they become tag team partners. And then even further down the line with Tommy Dreamer showing up in that famous ROH CM Punk Raven dog collar match.
Yes.
To defend, to help Raven. So, I mean, it just spans time. But I don't know, Raven to me, I mean, that was me. I was the kid in the leather jacket and flannel and, listening to Cobain and, Black Hole Sun, and that, like, Raven was so relatable to me, and just I dug him. And I mean, yes, we can talk about Scotty Flamingo and other things that he's done.
Johnny Polo, which blows my mind. How he went from that to Raven. But, I mean, Raven was just such a great character. I mean, the What About Me? And what I loved, too, was, like, in ring, man, Raven was damn good. Promos was awesome, but Raven was a hell of a worker.
My favorite DDT ever.
Yeah.
I'm right. Yeah. I mean, and I love Jake's DDT, but I agree. I think Raven's has my favorite DDT.
It's so even flow, and fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, Raven.
Total package.
Yeah, and like just the storylines, like you say. I mean, the stuff. If you're gonna have me rank the best feuds of ECW, to me, it goes Dreamer Raven, and then Taz Sabu, and then I go probably Raven Sandman. So I mean, easily I put him in the top 2 of the top 3 like greatest rivalries in ECW history. And like for me, the stuff that really got me like hooked on Raven was the whole like the stuff with Sandman, and just taking the Sandman, who's just this badass who we all love, and humanizing him and just bringing him like, the man could be beat nearly to death, and that doesn't mean anything. But by God, you take his son away from him. Holy crap. You're playing on a whole new level here. And just to see him like weeping and like crying uncontrollably. Oh my God. That's the stuff that got me hooked.
It's such I love good storytelling. It's amazing storytelling. Like all of the stuff with Raven Sandman and the whole long backstory with the Raven Dreamer stuff about how like Raven and Tommy met at summer camp. And Tommy was the jock that everybody loved, and Raven was the outsider, and got this girl who had a crush on Tommy, and it turned out to be Beulah. Brought her involved. There's so many people involved in that storyline. Like, it's like
Stevie Richards.
Francine gets introduced because of this, because she's messing with Stevie Richards.
Pitbulls too was also involved with it.
Pitbulls early were involved. The Bruise Brothers, Brian Lee.
Yep.
There was so many people brought in. It's crazy how that story just evolved and just kept evolving over all these years. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They could still keep going if Raven was working.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'd pay money for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Take it down.
Yeah, give it to me.
So some other guys I kind of wanted to talk about here. We got to talk about Jerry Lynn. Jerry effing Lynn. God, he was so damn good. And I like just, you think about Jerry like another journeyman, really, who, worked in Minneapolis, worked with Lightning Kid or 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac, Sean Waltman. Yeah. And then his stuff he did in WCW is the Mash JL,
Yeah.
And then they get him into ECW, and it's just like, it's just, once again, that was one of the great things about ECW is like Paul just let the guys be themselves, essentially. Yeah, and Jerry Lynn, I think, is one of those guys one of those guys you just have to mention it, as I put him up there as one of the originals, really. I know it was later on, but still, though, like the impact he had, nice. Coolest dude in wrestling I've ever met. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Like, just a super awesome guy, like in ring, just so damn crisp. One of his awesome feuds that I loved was with Just Incredible. That summer in '98, man, those summer matches they had. Oh my God, that was freaking off the hooks.
See, I was going to bring them up. If you didn't bring them
just
up,
incredible.
was the impact players like that.
Yeah.
Such one of my favorites.
Lance Storm too.
One of the most underrated people in pro wrestling. Lance Storm.
Because he's from Calgary. Dramatic pause. Alberta, Canada. Yeah, Lance Storm was awesome too. I loved watching him in ECW. Holy shit.
He can be serious for a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. I can be serious.
I can be serious. Yeah. And I love how the Impact players stole the Shawn Michaels Diesel pose.
Yes.
For their stuff. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. It's the first time of like imitation being the most sincere form of flattery, and at least that I've noticed in wrestling. Because then like you've got like the Bullet Club doing like the NWO stuff, and that was like the first time I ever saw like somebody kind of like putting a little nod to the Click. Yeah, Just Incredible I've heard is a really good dude, like in real life.
Yeah,
and somebody that
I've heard that too about PJ. Yeah, I've heard he's a good cat.
Yeah, Just Incredible. Somebody that like did not get a fair shake in WWE at all. Like they put a jock strap on his face, and that completely killed him. And
Portuguese Man of War.
And then didn't do
even when ECW folded and they put him in X Factor with Pac and A-Train, you know. Yeah. I mean, nothing really good came out of that. That was just short-lived. It just, Just Incredible is a guy who totally should, and thank God for ECW, where he was able to shine and get over. I mean, former world champion. You talk about feuds. There's another one, Just Incredible and Tommy Dreamer. The matches those guys had.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
MJ. I got to agree. The X Factor thing was pretty with the Uncle Cracker or whatever. Yeah, that was a good theme.
Fire.
It's like the only Uncle Cracker song I like.
It's the only one you're allowed to.
Yeah.
What about some of we got to talk little Spike Dudley. Love me some Spike Dudley. It's another guy
the Dudleys overall
probably
too,
the guy in wrestling who takes the sickest bumps I've ever seen in my life.
Like willingly too, like just didn't care. It's like that spot in WWE where Taker does the choke slam over the rope, and he's like, I was completely down to do it, and Taker was like, wait, brother, are you sure? You sure you want to take this?
Yep.
He's like, yeah, dude, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And like he did it, and he's like, I just remember looking up and seeing Taker go, oh, like as soon as I hit the ground.
Yeah.
And also one of the best images in wrestling history. Bam Bam Bigelow pressing Spike Dudley and launching him into the crowd, and then just crowd surfing him.
Yep.
All the way around the ECW arena.
Yeah, they're like, oh, normal crowds probably would have just like got out of the way and let him drop to the floor.
Crowd. No, Philly's like, oh, it's a human beach ball.
Yep.
Just throw him away.
Speaking of Joey, I always loved when he would call Spike's matches, you know, and be like, they'd hit the acid drop and be like, oh, the colors.
I love Joey Styles.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's another one we got to talk about. Is Joey.
In my Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling commentators is Joey Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Golden Era Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Joey Styles.
Nice. He's on mine too. I go Gordon Soley, Jim Ross, Joey Styles, and Gorilla Monsoon are mine.
Yeah, that's awesome. Joey Styles. Joey's
definitely
the only play-by-play guy to do an entire pay-per-view by himself.
Yep. By himself.
Commentator.
And he did a damn good job.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love me some Joey Styles, man. Well, hey, we've been talking icons of ECW. I think you also got to point out, too, one of the awesome things about ECW. Think of all the incredible talent that they brought in that, like, got their first real exposure here, like, in North America and stuff. I mean, that list is a laundry list of Hall of Famers and world champions.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
guys like Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, which I know people don't like to mention him, but hey, it is what it is still. I mean, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrero, Conan, bringing in the Luchadors, and hell, even bringing in guys from over in Japan like Mike Awesome, Masato Tanaka. I mean, it was just amazing, the talent that came through that door. And you think about this, you got to think about some of the biggest names in the business, guys like Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. You know, think, there you go, bang, bang. But you think about him, like, really developing his character. I mean, think of, like, freaking the promos he cut in ECW. I mean, my God, that was, like, the groundwork for, like, some of Mick Foley's best work.
The turning against hardcore Mick Foley promos in ECW, like, it made, like, I still stand by this. That's how he got into WWE.
Yeah,
like,
I'm right there with you.
Like, it was, like, you look at Cactus Jack in WCW and Japan. Okay, I don't want to compare him to anybody else like today's, but like at a time where there weren't necessarily spot on spot fest.
Yeah,
a lot of what Mick Foley did at first was spot fest stuff, the elbow off the side of the ring, you know, the stuff in Japan. But when you got him into ECW with Polly and just those quiet, intense promos, and you see how they work to this day. Look at Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
when he first started off with this real quiet. Yes, it was during the pandemic era in the Thunderdome, but quiet, slow promos, and it just drew you in. And then he was also, even though he was still in the height of his career, he gave back. That's how Mikey Whipwreck got brought into the picture and became an ECW.
Worked on the ring crew.
Yeah.
Bumped like crazy. They gave him a shot, and then like just here's a crazy thing, man. Think about this: Mikey Whipwreck, freaking by all rights, should not have been as successful as he was in ECW. But the guy's a freaking Triple Crown winner. He like held all the belts in ECW.
That's
mind-boggling.
And at first had no offense whatsoever.
Yeah,
nope.
Literally, just throw him out there. You're just going to be a punching bag. He just wanted to fly around the ring a little bit and just probably get noticed. Yeah. And then, sure enough, like 6 months down the line, he's the ECW Tag Team Champion with Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite things. He's like, Mikey likes it.
Yeah. Mikey,
I was public enemy. I was like, Mikey. I love when they're talking to Mikey. Like, what do you think about this match? I'm gonna die.
Mikey, the public enemy. They're real mad. You know what that means? It means I'm gonna die. It's so funny. So funny.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Mick Foley's promos, the Kane Dewey promo.
Oh yeah.
Is the best promo of his career.
And think about that too. Think of how you would feel if you saw that like at a show. A fan brought a sign about your son. I mean, you talk about raw emotions, man.
Yeah. Like, you feel that one.
As a dad myself, you do not mess with my kid. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Straight.
There's a line that is drawn, and if you pass it, it's on site.
Yeah, you do not mess with my kid.
Absolutely. How it should be.
And talking about Mikey in that era, too, another one we got to talk about. Steve Austin. Steve freaking Austin, for God's sakes. I mean, probably the greatest draw in all of wrestling history, for crying out loud. Like, really evolving for the first time and us seeing, like, his true personality in ECW.
And only had a handful of matches. Not even a handful.
Was there for a cup of coffee, really?
Yeah, he was there for maybe, like a month? And it was mostly promos. It was mostly all promo stuff. Which the Eric Bischoff
Monday Night NyQuil,
right here on Monday NyQuil, got a bottle of Geritol on a pole match. That shitty wig. And the bongos for Mongo McMichael. Shut up, Bongo.
Yes, Bongo. You have to wonder if Russo was watching that and he thought, hey, that could be a good match someday, because he loves putting shit on pole matches. I don't know. But that's another story for another topic, another time.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, 4 matches.
So he had 4 matches. Okay. I know he had the match where he lost to Mikey, or he had a title shot against Mikey, or was that with Mikey and Sandman? Was that, I can't remember if it was a 3-way or just a 1-on-1.
I think it was just Mikey, because the promo he cuts after, he was like, Mikey Whipwreck, I was this close.
This close.
Yeah.
And I love the whole, like, I ain't got what it takes. Take me back, Eric. I can't make it in the ECW. Oh, man.
I love you, man. Just like getting on his knees. So good. And also somebody, Celtic Destroyer mentioned it, speaking of Mikey Whipwreck, his team with Tajiri.
Tajiri? The Sinister Minister.
Yeah. Yoshihiro
God, I wish
Tajiri.
they had a longer run.
Yeah, Yoshihiro Tajiri. The stuff that he did in ECW, mind-blowing. Like the feud, like the ongoing feud that I was like, him,
Super crazy,
and Little Guido.
I
They
would
would always
Guido,
have the triple threat matches, and they were always insane.
Yeah.
And then you turn Tajiri heel and make him all crazy, and put Mikey Whipwreck with him, and then put James Mitchell with him, who's, in my opinion, slept on as one of the best managers of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Best managers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tajiri could have been world champion. Yeah. Oh, and the FBI.
Yeah.
Full-blooded Italians.
Hey, that's a perfect segue, too, because we got to talk about some of the tag teams of ECW.
Oh,
and, of course, there's 2 that come to mind first, but they just said it right there. We got to talk about the FBI. I loved the fucking FBI because I loved how it was like literally Guido, the only one that's Italian, and then you have Tommy Rich in there. You have freaking JT Smith in there. Tracy Smothers in there. The Big Don, yeah. Oh my God, I love the FBI. Hey, and 2-time ECW tag champions.
It's true.
That's right. That's right.
And Tony Mama Luke later on with them too.
Yes.
The FBI was an awesome tag team. Well, definitely not. I mean, they kind of started off, I think, kind of as like a comedic tag team.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, no, seriously, and they could go in the ring.
Oh yeah.
But you got, speaking of comedic starting off, and then I think you gentlemen know where the fuck I'm going with this. The greatest tag team of all time in ECW by far, and maybe of all time. The Dudleys. The Dudleys. Mind-boggling how that was supposed to just be like just entertainment for Raven, and how that just turned in and evolved into one of the greatest tag teams of all time in wrestling history.
It all started. Yeah, it all started out as a joke to Pop Raven.
Yeah.
It all started as a joke to Pop Raven because he watched Slapshot and was like, we need the Hanson brothers in WWE or in ECW. So they just had all these random dudes, Sign Guy Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, Snot Dudley, like all these like random ones. And then you brought in Bubba. And yeah, and then have him dancing in the ring and stuff, happy-go-lucky babyface, and then Devon comes in, the angry stepbrother of the Dudleys, and then turns Bubba heel, and they go on a tear and become the most decorated tag team in professional wrestling history. I think the only titles that they don't have is like the AEW and GCW titles. I think that's it. They've had every other ones.
Yeah. The picture of them like holding all their belts to me is the most impressive thing ever.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you watch their stuff comedically, you watch the stuff with Bubba versus Devon, then them as a tag team. But to me, the times where they just come out and entice the crowd, inciting almost riots.
Dude,
yeah.
Heatwave 98.
They were the best heels in ECW. I mean, they were magnets for heat. I mean, they had heat unlike any other. And that's saying something when you're talking ECW.
Yeah, just watch the intro that they do at Heatwave 98.
Heatwave 99.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
They just go unleashed and say the most just out of pocket stuff to this crowd, and it's unreal. And tied with them, one of the greatest chicken shit heel managers of all time, Joel Gertner.
The quintessential Judd Stubmuffin.
The best intros in pro wrestling today is Joel Gertner. Still to this day, like 20 years later, I will watch clips of his stuff and just die laughing.
Yeah,
because it's
when
so
you can
ridiculous.
when you can somehow tie in Disney characters and talk about making them moist. I mean, that's pretty talented right there.
The man has a way with words. It's ridiculous. That's where literally my entire TikTok gimmick is like a mixture of like a bad Sandman impression and me trying to be Joel Gertner. That's literally it. That's literally it.
Sprinkling a little Dusty in there too.
Yeah, sprinkling some Dusty. You know, I gotta put some sauce on it. You know. But no, it's just the long intros
there
and like
you
all
go.
the different AKAs. Yeah, that's just me trying to be Joel Gertner without being banned from TikTok for saying some lewd shit. So,
and I love Gertner on commentary too with Joey there when they did that. In '99 or whatever into 2000. I love this stuff on commentary too. The feud he had with Cyrus.
yeah.
I love the shit out of that stuff.
I love that if you watch the Hardcore Homecoming show that was tied to the Forever Hardcore doc, Joey comes out, starts like doing like a pep talk for the crowd. Then Joel comes out, does like a 15-minute fucking drawn out thing at the beginning. And then Cyrus comes out. Don Callis comes out and starts putting over Joel Gertner. It's like, I miss this place. This place is hot. It smells like piss. And Joel Gertner still does the best 2-minute funny promo in this business. And then he's like, and you know what's sad? You're still the same fat, pathetic piece of trash you were 7 years ago. And then he finally attacks him. He starts freaking out, and then he just attacks him. And Joey Styles is like falling over the top of him. He's dying laughing the entire time, too. You can tell he's just like, what the fuck? Like, it was awesome to see Joel Gertner finally get his hands on Cyrus. It was beautiful.
I always forget that Don Callis was Cyrus. Like, even when I watch it, I'm just like, it never registers. Like, that's Don Callis. No, that's just Cyrus.
He's not wearing a salmon pink suit and Jordans now, like he is now.
Yeah,
he's hanging out with the Bucks.
And then we talking Dudleys, another team you gotta mention, the Public Enemy. I mean, the first real big act to like get over at ECW. Now, I will admit, for me as a kid, I really didn't even discover Public Enemy till WCW. So at the point, like in '96, I mean, because they were the first. You think about it, they were the first real talent from ECW to jump to a major promotion. It was the Public Enemy. But the stuff that they did in 90, 93, 94, 95, oh my God. The feuds they had, the matches they had with like Taz and Sabu and like Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko.
And like with the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and John.
The Eliminators.
Put some respect on Perry Saturn's name.
I'm about to right now, actually. In my opinion, the best elbow drop in pro wrestling ever is Perry Saturn's elbow.
I don't know if I can agree with that one.
I don't give a shit. Y'all can come at me. I don't care.
It's him and Savage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When he gets that fucking elbow drop off the scaffold, holy shit.
Yeah. Like, and the way
former paratrooper Perry Saturn. Yeah.
The reason
remember he had a broken fucking leg that was in a splint. The man gets up on the top rope and dives. I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. The Eliminators are honestly probably my favorite ECW tag team outside of Danny Doran and Roadkill. Those were my two favorite ECW tag teams.
Love Danny Doran and Roadkill.
Love Danny Doran and Chickens. Yeah. I love that gimmick, dude.
The-
And those
the-
guys could go in the ring too, man.
yeah, they can.
Like,
And-
holy shit, Dorn and Roadkill. I mean, like, Dorn and Roadkill. The first real students to graduate from the House of, shit, now I'm drawing a blank, the ECW's training school. Was it House of Hardcore? Or no, not House of Hardcore.
They called it that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they called it the House. And then Tommy Dreamer took it from there.
Yeah, to do his little promotion.
ECW to me, like if you look at that time frame, when you look at the other companies, WCW, WWE, ECW was the one that had the most well-around singles and tag divisions. Yeah. Like,
agreed.
They put as much focus on the tag as they did as the individuals.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because
you could easily see a show where it would either be main evented by a tag team match, or it could have been like a tag title match or an ECW title match. I mean, they just went hand in hand. Like you say, they were of equal importance. And you had so many great tag teams, so many great rivalries. I mean, hell, there's others we're missing here, like the Pitbulls. Hell, what about the Gangsters? New Jack and Mustafa. New Jack, for God's sakes. An ECW original. Holy shit. New Jack, his promos, and just the crazy son of a bitch he was. R.I.P. New Jack. I miss me some fucking New Jack, man.
And then also, New Jack had that tag with John Cronus when Perry Saturn and Mustafa left.
Yeah, it's the Gangstanators. Yep, I saw. Yep, you're right, Bone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great tag team. I loved probably like with New Jack, one of my favorite promos of him of all time was November to Remember 2000, where he's going against Rhino. And he's talking about what he's going to do when he wins that TV belt. And he's like, I'm going to take that belt. I'm going to pawn that bitch. He's like, I'm going to play dice. I'm going to do everything you should do with that belt.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And then he's talking about, like, he's going to stick him. He's like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to stick you. Oh, I loved New Jack. Crazy, crazy man.
Dude, I love
kind of off topic. You guys ever see that shoot interview with New Jack, Iron Sheik, and the Honky Tonk Man?
Oh yeah, I've it's on high spots. I watch New Jack stuff regularly. I was actually watching a bunch of stuff earlier today, kind of in prep for this. It's on the High Spots Wrestling Network. We're not sponsored. I just champion the shit out of them because, as they say, it is the best $9.99 in the business. It's basically the WWE network for the indies.
Yeah.
There's so much awesome stuff on there, and there's a ton of shoot interviews. And there's one called Legends of Extreme.
I remember that. Yep.
It's Mike Johnson from PW Insider as like the moderator, and he just brings on a bunch of the ECW originals. Like he's had Sandman, Francine, Gary Wolf, New Jack, Bill Alfonso, a bunch of people from that, a Blue Meanie, Rhino, or Roadkill. Like a bunch of people have been on there, and all the ones with New Jack are absolutely hysterical. Because he just talks about, I don't remember this match. Y'all know I did a bunch of cocaine, right? Like I don't remember nothing. I don't know nothing. Talking about
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, talking about him and Bam Bam. There's a spot where he dives off the crow's nest onto Bam Bam and he misses him, and he's like blown up, and he's like my heart was going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and Bam Bam picks me up and goes, Jack, you okay? Yeah, I think so. We gotta end the match. I know. I can't feel my legs. And he said, but he's like, I couldn't do nothing. Bam Bam just picked me up, walked me to the ring, hit me with my finish, and I was out the door. I was just gone. The stuff that he did and was willing to do for that company was insane. And then like the Vic Grimes spot.
Yeah.
The Danbury Fall.
I think somebody mentioned that earlier, but yes. Holy shit.
Yeah, how he saw Bob.
And then all the years later, where he gets his revenge in XPW, he's like, and they talk to him after, or, in interviews and stuff. He's like, I was trying to purposely throw his ass out of the ring. I was trying to kill that motherfucker. I was like, oh my God.
He's like, they moved that scaffold 6 feet back. I was trying to make him land on the turnbuckle post. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, you really. And then like
this no filter.
No, did not care.
Didn't care.
Can I throw out a hypothetical fantasy booking match that I would love to see? I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know if this exists. I doubt it. It might be. There might have been some paths crossing. What if we got New Jack versus Eddie Kingston?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Ooh.
The promos between those two would be unreal.
I'm just saying. Two people that
That would have been awesome.
that fully believe, in my opinion, that wrestling is real.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know it's
I
work.
would pay good money.
Yeah. 'cause
I
I
tell
mean-
you, a New Jack Dream match I always wanted to see, and I kind of like, and I don't think these guys' paths cross, but I always looked at this guy. I've always called him Baby New Jack. What about New Jack versus Homicide?
Oh, New Jack Homicide would be great.
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah. They were in the same locker room in CZW.
Okay.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Hambone mentioned it. We gotta, if we're talking about New Jack, we have to mention the mass transit.
yeah.
Thing. We
Mass transit.
you can't
Dark day in ECW history.
Yeah. The backstory for those people that don't know, it was supposed to be the Gangsters versus Devon Dudley and Axel Rotten. Axel Rotten, there was a family emergency. He couldn't make the show, and they were in Massachusetts. I can't remember where they were at. And this kid comes in who said that he worked before, lied about his age, said he worked for all of these companies, and came back and was like, "Hey, I want to work this show." It was like, "Okay." And normally, if you're an extra at a show, what you should do is you sit there, you shut up, you listen, and don't tell any of these people what you want to do. Well, this kid apparently was like, I want to do this in the ring. I want to do this in the ring to New Jack, to someone who's batshit crazy. And he's telling him this. And then he's like, I want you to cut me, but I don't know how to do it. Can you do it? And he said, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do it." And then he's like, "I cut the shit out of that."
And of all the people that asked to do that,
yeah, he said he wanted to
what
get
are you
color.
thinking, kid?
He said he wanted to get color. Now, he didn't tell me he wanted to cut this long or this long. He just said, I did it, and I had a surgical scalpel in my hand, and I cut that boy deep. And he bled a lot. It's like, Jesus.
Again, with Husky and his impression.
Exactly.
I don't know. I
need to start making a list as they happen.
just make me do them on command during the show.
Yeah, I'll be like, Husky, Dusty, Husky, New Jack, Husky.
Yeah.
Well, brother, hold on. Calm down, brother. Let me just talk like Sex Ferguson the entire time. But yeah, so, and this kid, the entire time during this match, the kid's dad is front row, and he's screaming into the ring. He's a minor.
Yeah.
He's only 17. And they ended the match. The cops were called. He had to, New Jack bolted, and then he got charges pressed on him, and he got off with the charges. And it was crazy. Like, Paulie came in and vouched for New Jack. Said that apparently that the kid said some racist stuff to basically justify why he filleted him like a fish. I don't know.
He did fillet him like a fish. Good God.
Dude, I've watched that match. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's on YouTube. If you really want to watch this match.
Yeah, it's like on
there.
fan cam footage, I think.
Yeah, it's on fan cam footage because it wasn't an actual hardcore TV taping. But it is it's a rough watch, folks. Especially knowing the information that we know now. It's a real rough watch.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
But speaking of brutal, what about one of the most brutal moments in ECW history? And just mind-boggling the fact that it was between managers. The match between Beulah McGillicuddy and Bill Alfonso.
Yes.
And Fonzie just bleeding fucking buckets.
Yeah, the match.
Oh my God. I still to this day don't think I've seen somebody bleed as much as Alfonso did.
The match that saved Fonzie's career.
It did, because he was gone, because he was part of that like whole deal with like Terry Taylor calling it like, hey, come on to WCW and stuff. Yeah, it really saved his job.
Yeah,
but holy shit, that match, 5 minutes of some of the most intense, like, see, and just like Fonzie, like you talk about like the Crimson Mask. You couldn't even see that son of a bitch's eyes. It was just like, oh my God, there's a human being somewhere behind all this blood.
And two untrained wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's Beulah, who's never wrestled a day in her life. And then there's Bill Alfonso, who's a 125-pound former referee.
Soaking wet. Yep.
And like it's like the scene in Carrie when she gets the blood dumped on her. That's how Fonzie looked, just completely covered, like head
The whole
to toe.
ring. The whole ring is stained.
It was disgusting, like just
It's a
so
bloodbath.
much. And I think like Fonzie talked about, he's like, I had to get rushed to the hospital after that one, Daddy. It's like, yeah, probably because you cut yourself too deep and just like bled out all over the fucking ECW arena, brother. But it saved your job.
I've heard Beulah on Busted Open come on and talk about that match, and
really?
And she was like, we did it. She's like, it got done, and after that, there was very little ever spoken about it again in the back.
Yeah, literally, it's just like, okay,
we're good. Move on now.
Yeah, don't.
And on that note,
yeah, exactly. And on that note. Oh,
well,
man.
I feel like we've all been talking here, but I feel bad leaving you out here, Mr. B-Roll. But I know you're learning because you're learning the ropes. But well, it's something we always love to do here on our show. It's your favorite time, Mr. B-Roll. You ready for a pop quiz, my friend?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
I have one
Mr.
question.
B-Roll.
Am I allowed to phone a friend?
You got like 3 lifelines.
Okay.
So here's the game we're playing tonight, Mr. B-Roll. I'm going to give you a wrestler's name, and you're going to tell me, did they compete in ECW or not? Yes or no? You got a 50% chance of getting this, okay?
There's a lot of people who went
Are
in and
you
out of
ready
that
for
locker
this?
room, so good luck.
Yeah, there's a lot of people we did not touch on.
Yeah. People I
Yes, there really is. So the first one I'm going to give you is somebody you know really well. This guy right here, Ron Simmons. Did he compete in ECW or not?
Damn.
Yes.
You better get this right, boy. I'm going to whip your ass.
Yes, he did.
You're correct. Ron Simmons did compete in ECW. It was a brief time, but still he did compete in ECW.
Thank you.
How about
the
this
Rise
one,
and Fall
Mr.
of
B-Roll?
ECW documentary.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like
You studied up, man.
If you go on Peacock, he's like on the first or second episode of the hardcore TV.
Yeah, if you go to like 1995, if you go to 1995 in like the years on there,
yeah, he's like first
January
episode.
Yeah, January 1st, 1995. It's him and Shane Douglas at a match.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the match they show. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. B-Roll. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Did he wrestle in ECW?
Where's the Jeopardy music when we need it?
I can try to do it in Peter Griffin laugh.
Do it.
Okay. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a phone a friend here.
You're going to phone a friend. Okay.
Yes, but I have to choose.
So you're
between the
asking
two of
me?
them. No.
Okay.
You're the teacher. If I ask the teacher, that would be cheating. Husky, phone a friend.
Yes.
He says yes.
Yeah.
We lock in our answer.
Yes.
You are correct. Yes. And Celtic Destroyer, I loved having you talk to us. We should totally have you on an episode. We'd love to have you on an episode of Learning the Ropes, my friend.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Before he goes, Husky, I don't know if he hopped in the live on TikTok that we did before this while you were in there, but he has a ECW tattoo.
What?
Oh, I saw him. I saw him mention that. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, he's got a He said he's got an ECW tattoo, and I said he's got like. Didn't you say you had Jerry Lynn's signature tattooed on you?
Somebody's
Yes, I saw
signature
that.
above it.
Like that's
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
That's fucking awesome, man. All right, Mr. B-Roll. We talked about Jimmy Snuka. How about his arch nemesis, The Rock, Don Morocco? Did Don Morocco compete in ECW?
Dad Hat's expression.
I'm. Don't phone a friend on this one. Don't waste a lifeline.
I'm gonna go with the when in doubt. So many people walk through that door, so I'm gonna say
Yes?
Actually, I'm going to say no. I feel like you're trying to trick me. I'm going to say no.
Well, believe it or not, that's actually incorrect. Don Morocco did compete, although it was in Eastern Championship Wrestling. But still, he did compete there.
But then that doesn't count.
All right.
I just don't remember that. Yeah.
That counts.
Way early.
What about one of wrestling's greatest tag teams of all time, Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers? Did they compete in ECW?
Yes.
You are correct. They did compete in ECW. Once again, there for a cup of coffee, but they did compete there. How about Jake, the Snake Roberts? Did he compete in ECW?
No.
That is incorrect, my friend. Jake the Snake did compete in ECW.
Yeah,
Actually, was on a pay-per-view, November 98, as Tommy Dreamer's mystery partner. All right. Here's one for you, Mr. B-Roll. Psycho Sid. Did he compete in ECW?
I'm going to say no.
Incorrect. He did compete in ECW. He was there for a couple months, made a couple pay-per-views. His manager, Judge Jeff Jones, coming out, and Sid would just beat the shit out of people. But Sid did compete there.
Just serving up power bombs.
Yep,
basically.
Chokeslam, powerbomb. Give me my money.
Yeah,
didn't
basically
break his leg.
Yeah, Fun fact, that happened in Indianapolis.
Oh, did it really? I'll be damned.
Yep. I was watching that pay-per-view.
Oh, wait a minute. I misheard. Oh, the WCW.
Greed.
Yeah, that was an indie. What was it, Greed or whatever the hell they called it?
Greed, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a four-way. I remember. So it's funny you say that because that was a show I actually could have went to, and I did not want to go to because I wasn't watching WCW at the time. However, if I'd known, that would have happened, I probably would have went. But then again, I guess what's that say about me? But anyways, back to your pop quiz, sir. Scott Hall. Did Scott Hall compete in ECW?
Yes.
That's correct. He did. How about?
Before?
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about that before, so I think you're gonna remember that one. So that was a layup for you, but that's okay. How about the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan? Did Kevin Sullivan compete in ECW?
I'm phoning a friend.
I'm the only one left. I'm assuming you're me, unless you're talking to somebody in the chat. From my vague memory, I want to say yes. I don't remember a lot of him in there, but I'm going to say yes.
We're going yes.
That's correct. Kevin Sullivan did compete in ECW. How about this one? The Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Did he compete in ECW?
I'm going to say no. One of these has to be a no.
That's actually incorrect. He did have a match in ECW. He did wrestle in ECW.
I'm not saying no anymore.
All right. Well, here's your last one. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Did Ric Flair compete in ECW? Let me just say this. ECW, not WWECW, ECW, the original ECW.
Okay, I'll go yes.
He did not. He did not. But you did pretty good. And like I say, I threw some hard ones at you there. Went really early with Eastern Championship Wrestling, but you did pretty good, my friend. So
There was one I was waiting
good job.
on. There was one I was waiting on to see if you would say.
Okay, see if you can stump him. Put him on the spot.
No,
Give it
please
to him.
don't.
Oh,
No. I'm saying
was-
you ask him.
Who was it?
Dad asked XLJ the OG.
Well, no, it's pretty obvious that he did, but I was going to
Oh.
say I was waiting for Brian Pillman to be in that list.
Oh yeah.
The
I
loose
thought about
cannon.
putting him on there. I did thought about putting him on there, but I was like, I don't know.
The
Oh.
loose
Did you
cannon,
have-
Brian Pillman.
I always win a fight with the pencil. So
Just
good.
that,
I'm gonna
that
whip my
image with the
Johnson out
cane.
here and just take out gas in this right.
Yeah, when the
God,
lights
that's
the lights go out, and then who are you? Turn around, he's got the cane out. The crowd's going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so crazy, so
it's
crazy.
great. Another great moment, man.
Wearing
All right,
the Horseman
gentlemen.
logo shirt on
Yeah,
ECW
Oh, yeah.
TV.
so good.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, I want to throw this out here. I want to talk about some hidden gems in ECW. I want to start first with hidden gems as far as competitors. And I have a couple names I want to bring up. I'm going to go old school first. I don't think this guy nearly gets talked enough. People forget about him, but we're talking early days of ECW. I want to talk about the fucking Shaw, Hack Myers.
Hack Myers.
I loved Hack Myers.
Oh,
Coming out with the freaking, like, the skullet or whatever, man. So over with the crowd. Every time he hits somebody, Shaw.
Yeah, every time he throw a punch, the crowd chanting Shaw. So good, so good.
Yeah.
Hack does not get talked about as much as he should. He had some really great stuff in the early
Celtic,
days.
I think we got to have you on, man, because you're reading my mind. Two Cold Scorpio's another one I wanted to bring up, too.
Yes.
I love Two Cold's work at ECW, man. Phenomenal television champion.
And one half of the former ECW tag champions with the Sandman.
With Sandman, yeah. And perhaps other than Robert Fulton, the biggest you-know-what in wrestling history.
I keep
Too
hearing
Cold was
stories.
packing.
I keep hearing stories. Like literally any wrestler that does a shoot interview has a story of seeing Too Cold Scorpio and his.
That's like a
memory.
baby arm dangling down there, like Mick Foley said.
There's a funny shoot that I heard Ricky Shane Page do on his show on High Spots, talking about wrestling Too Cold Scorpio. He's like, he didn't think I could wrestle, and like, he's like, I was leaning on him, and the whole time, like, I'm leaning on him for a headlock, and you just hear him go, "Quit leaning on me, motherfucker!" Whoa, that shot me right up.
Adding Too Cold Scorpio to the list.
It's gonna be
Just made the list.
There's gonna be a laundry list. And
Dude,
I'm
I
gonna end up having-
think that needs to be a series of TikToks for you, bro. You need to do like a different gimmick every day. You're doing a different impersonation, and put them in a real life scenario or something. You know, like Too Cold Scorpio, like going to the grocery store or something. Man, I would pay good money to see that. You need to do it, bro.
You think I'm kidding?
He's writing down notes.
He's making a list, dude.
You know me in my
Oh my God.
notebook.
I know,
Go
dude.
check it
I
from it.
know. Oh yeah. You gotta add Terry Funk to that.
Yes.
To that. Yeah. Thank you, D.
That's a good one. Yeah. I've heard you do that a couple times.
I'm an old man. I should have taken the money.
Oh, I love Terry Funk so much.
The last hidden gem wrestler I want to talk about, and this is one of my favorite ECW wrestlers of all time, and I don't think the dude nearly gets talked enough. How about the king of old school, Steve Corino?
Yes.
Holy shit, the evolution of his character from that chicken shit heel manager to 2000, that run he had, man, the match with Dusty, of course.
Yes.
Just him bleeding every damn match in the summer of 2000.
Dude.
And then finally winning the ECW championship and was really like the second to last, third to last ECW champion was Carino.
Yeah.
I loved watching Steve Carino and the evolution of his character.
Dude, yes. I was a big Steve Carino fan. And like him like having Jack Victory as like his lackey was
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So good. So good. And just the stuff that he did like even after ECW, like going into ROH and like he had
ROH stuff was awesome.
He had some
the dude he had with Kevin Steen, holy shit.
Yes, dude. And even like he still had feuds when he was doing like commentary for New Japan. Like Cody Rhodes and him had a feud in New Japan because I guess he said something bad about the Bullet Club. And there was one match that I remember is from Wrestle Kingdom. It was Cody Rhodes and Juice Robinson. And the entire match, Cody's just talking shit to Steve Carino the entire time. Can I do Heyman? I'll have to work on it.
Oh,
I'll work on
that's
it.
a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen. I just need a suit. I need a suit.
That was good.
I need to work on it.
That was pretty good for your first try. I think that's gonna make the list too.
God, Heyman.
Oh, Extreme Horseman, hell yeah! It's funny you say that because that was the last guy I wanted to mention here. C.W. Anderson. I fucking love C.W. Anderson,
dude. The one of like he's got Arn's Spinebuster down to a T. Like it's picture perfect. So good. The stuff that he did in like the late era of ECW was crazy.
Yeah. Stuff he did with Simon Diamond and Swinger. Even the new Dangerous Alliance was okay too. But see, the best thing I think he did was with Dreamer. The feud he had with Dreamer was awesome. And hell, if you think about it, the last ECW pay-per-view ever, Tommy Dreamer's last ECW pay-per-view match was against C.W. Anderson.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic match.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, amazing match. Love that I Quit match. So what about you guys? Is there any hidden gem wrestlers you kind of think of that people don't really talk about with ECW, but they really should?
I mean, they talk about him, but not. I'm always going to be an advocate for Stevie Richards and the Blue Meanie.
Yes.
The stuff that they were doing, like Baron Von Stevie, and then of course everybody the BWO and everything. But Stevie Richards was really good in the ring.
It's fantastic in the ring.
Yeah, Terry Funk, Stevie Richards, Raven, right? Raven.
Sandman.
Why do I always throw Raven in that one for some reason?
Well, the winner of the match fought Raven.
That's right. That's why I do. That's why I always do that. But I mean, look at those, and then you got Stevie Richards. I mean, clearly he can go if he can hang with those two. But I mean, I always look at them, and then I mean, people talk about him, but they talk about him for more of after the fact and after ECW, and that's Rhino, because he gets that he came in towards the very end. He had a great run with the TV title, and then he was the last ever ECW World Champion. Everybody always remembers him for more post ECW stuff.
Yeah,
the Gore through SmackDown set with Jericho. Right. You know, being the run-in at TLC at Mania 17,
Yeah.
Think of think of him in ECW when he pile drove the Sandman's wife through the table. That was a nasty, sick-looking bomber.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was so into ECW Rhino that when he showed up in WWE, I was telling every single person I know, future world champion. I was so behind Rhino.
Yeah. I really wish he would have got that type of role. Yeah. D actually mentioned it. Rey Mysterio's work in ECW in the mid-90s, he was super, super young. He was I I think maybe 18.
Yeah, he was legal, but not
And,
19
like,
at most.
yeah, like 18, 19. And like the matches he was doing with Psychosis and with Juventud Guerrera and Conan. Like the stuff that like all this like lucha libre talent that came in the mid 90s.
Yeah,
Like,
think of like doing the Hurricanrana off the car, for God's sakes. It's like, holy shit,
Right.
19. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah,
and that whole division literally going ECW, WCW.
yeah. One person that doesn't get talked about enough, I think, Al Snow.
Have you read his book though?
No, I have not read his book.
Okay, so he has a very interesting take on ECW. Like he was he openly says about how he did not have the relationship with Vince. He wasn't going trying to talk to Vince and everything, and when he was in WWE, and that was just a way for him to go and try to do something. And they would try to pull him back, and Paul would go to bat for him, and I mean that's where he discovered the head and everything. But that's why like when you watch the rise and fall of ECW, when he's like, I never had any of my checks personally bounce. Of course you didn't, because you were a WWE talent under the like there as part of that unspoken of agreement from
Right.
everything. That's why he's like, oh, I didn't have a chance to bounce. He was a WWF guy there,
Yeah.
but a lot of people didn't realize that.
Yeah. D brought up another one that I want to bring up. Balls Mahoney. Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. The hardcore chair swinging freaks. Dude, Balls Mahoney.
He can freaking go. I mean, like, in ring technicals, also hell, he used to be an amateur wrestler. The story goes that he got disqualified and banned from wrestling there in New Jersey or whatever because he was so damn violent. Like, I think he bit a guy or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Balls Mahoney.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can help me find it, because I cannot, and I have searched Peacock for it, and I just don't remember where it is. The match with the Dudleys, and it's Balls and Axel, where they send them through the flaming table, because it's not in the ECW arena. They're out somewhere else, because the crowd it almost looks like Madison Square Garden the way. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It was the first TV taping for them, because they ended up, I remember that TNN too, that episode too, because they ended up showing RVD and Jerry Lynn from Hardcore Heaven, because it was too damn crazy like that.
Like I cannot find it on Peacock. Like I have searched that.
Yeah.
I almost think, well, I wouldn't see the whole match, but I feel like I did that spot as one of my This Day in Wrestling History ones not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'll go look it up on your page.
Yeah, there's a couple in the chat here that have been brought up. Yeah, No Gimmicks Needed, Chris Candido. And Kid Cash, yes. Kid Cash is like, he was in that like type of like Amazing Red type of like crazy high flyers. And yes, D, we did mention Bam Bam Bigelow. We were talking about the feud with Taz.
Can I give a big congratulations real quick while I went to go see about Mr. B-Roll's like Day in Wrestling History? Congrats to our boss, Panda. He hit 20K.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! Shout out to the boss man. Let's go.
There you go. Hell yeah. And Candido, another one too. That guy doesn't get nearly as much love, I think.
Oh my
Chris
God.
Candido, great promo. In ring was fucking awesome. Oh my God, like the matches he had like with Lance Storm, holy crap, so damn good.
Dude,
yeah, absolutely. One of the best finishers is the blonde bombshell, the power bomb from the top rope. So good. Oh. Whoa. Did we lose you, brother?
He's gone.
I don't know if we lost him.
See, from the people I've talked about in shoots, CW got jacked up every show. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I think
He may be
XLJ's down.
He may be gone.
Hey,
We'll
well,
try to get him back
he's sideways, not quite down, but he's sideways.
He's horizontal.
I just got a message from him. He said, "I just lost power."
Oh shit.
No.
Oh no. Damn. Okay. Well, shit. Let's
I'm about to say,
Let's-
I've got his format that he emailed us. If you want me to pull it up.
yeah.
Well, how about this? We'll go into a quick plug-a-palooza. We only got nine more minutes anyway. Go into a quick plug-a-palooza. Go over there, and then we'll wrap up with like any closing thoughts. And yeah, it's been an awesome episode. Honestly, I know I've been quiet a lot, but like, it's just so amazing. Like, I love ECW, and there's still so much like I have to dive into for it.
Oh yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, just look at the list of names that we talked about. Like some of my all-time faves. Like, just it just goes on and on. He says he's trying to get back on, just so you all know. But I'll do a real quick, won't be as long as the first one, Plug-a-Palooza, and then we will just go from there. So for Cold TV, we have 2 new episodes coming out this week where we do an I'm Your Huckleberry at the Pepper Palace. It's basically
Nice.
just me and XLJ the OG trying a bunch of hot stuff and being tortured. So
That place is awesome.
make sure you
We've
go
got
check it out.
We've got one here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So ours is new, and we had never heard of it. So we just kind of, it was funny because we were actually supposed to go to another place. It's like a popcorn place where they had crazy flavors. And they were closed.
We have one of those just opened up here. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So and we went to that place on a whim. It totally worked out. The worker was like super nice, super cool about us like filming in there, which was awesome because sometimes like they're not. And yeah. But yeah, so we got that coming this week, and then we have coming a special vlog special of where XLJ goes to the drive-in. Let's see if he gets stranded at the drive-in or not.
Hey,
There he is.
He is
Okay.
back. So
I literally
we went
just lost power. I don't know what the fuck that was all about.
you
sideways
flipped again.
Oh shit.
But we're doing a plug-a-palooza, so you just hang in there and figure out what's going down.
he froze again.
Yeah, he did.
He's frozen.
So Rootless Coffee, our sponsor. Use code Panda Coffee to save 15% on all non-collabs, and you can save your merch. And I mean, you know what? If XLJ the OG would have had his Rootless Coffee today, we wouldn't be having these issues.
Exactly.
It's true. It's true. It's guaranteed to put the Husky back in your Rhodes. It's guaranteed to put the Dad back in your hat.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
Let's go. Puts the
I don't
mo
think
back
they
in your
want.
jug.
I don't think they want me in their hats. That just sounds inappropriate.
All right. Speaking of merch, though, you can get some Learning the Ropes merch. You can get some Panda merch. You can get some Wrestle Talk Wolfpack merch. All over at Sweet Dollface Creation. Husky's not on there yet. We don't know why the heck he's not.
I know. I need to
but-
correct that.
Yeah. I mean, keep it simple. Like, have name something on the front and 3 rules on the back. Like,
Yeah, literally, my idea that I mentioned last night is not even have my name on there. Just have "yo" on the front,
Yeah.
and then have the 3 rules on the back.
that could
So-
work too. That could work
So
too.
if Miss Sweet Dollface Creations sees this, we will be in talks.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because we need a Wrecking Crew shirt too.
Oh, I joked with my wife the other day about the Wrecking Crew shirt. I was like, it would be funny, literally, if it was literally just a wrecking ball, like almost like in mid sway, but like think like not like detailed picture, but like think Miley Cyrus hanging off of it. So like you're at the bottom holding on, I'm above it, like holding it, going the other way, like so. on
Yes!
a wrecking ball. Like you just see like two of
us hanging on a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, ah!
Yes.
I love it.
Sign me up.
I love
me
it.
up.
I love it. Please,
Sign me up.
somebody please draw that.
Yeah.
Somebody please draw that, and I will send that to Sweet Dollface Creations and be like, hey, can you put this on a shirt?
Yeah. All right. And then you have found us here over on the Panda Wrestling Company. This is our last plug. So, hey, we appreciate y'all being in the chat. I know Celtic Destroyer, it was your first time on. Appreciate the crap out of you, like, just chatting
Yeah,
up
dude.
all night. His tag is Irish Red Blitz on TikTok. So if you all don't, any of you in the chat don't follow him or anything, go follow him.
I'm going right now.
Yep, I'm doing that right now.
There you go. Yeah, and but let me tell you this: while we're talking about subscribing to this channel over here, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. It's pretty simple. You can just Google it, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So yeah, I mean, guys, it has been awesome having you on. And look, he's entered the chat now. His phone has died.
It's all good, XLJ.
Yeah, man.
It's okay. It's
We
okay.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us, man.
Yeah,
This was
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
It was honestly, it was awesome. Honestly, I feel like I sat back most of the night and was almost just like a fan, because I love ECW, and putting you guys over again. I'm fans of you all. You all are some of my favorite Wrestle Talk creators. Yeah, love being a part of the PWC with you guys. So we appreciate having you guys on. Yeah. So closing thoughts on just ECW, and maybe like if you were to sum up with like try to sum up ECW for somebody that never watched it.
ECW completely changed the landscape of professional wrestling as it is today. If ECW did not exist, there would not be half of the stuff that you see on TV.
ECW is a time capsule. It's a special moment in time for professional wrestling that I don't think we'll ever see repeated. And it brought us wrestlers that are now in the Hall of Fame and will be remembered forever.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I mean, and we just went through and like broke down, like we just almost kind of went through like the roster almost, and we
just kind of broke the ice on it.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't have our layout in front of me, so I don't know if we stuck to it or not. But it is what it is. This has honestly been my absolute like favorite episode that we've ever done, because I love ECW, and yeah, like if I had a time machine, I would love to go to a show at the ECW arena and just be there, be in that moment, and feel. That's one of the things that has drawn, as a new fan, that's drawn me to it. Just seeing how rabid that fan base was and how passionate they were.
Yes.
Like you cannot help but feel that energy from the crowd. I mean, and we played it at the very beginning of this episode, them chanting just those three letters, EC-Dub, EC-Dub. I mean,
XLJ, if you want a part 2, you just let me know when.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can speak for Husky too.
Say the word. Dude, just say the word and I'm showing up. Because I will definitely do this again.
Yeah.
Even if it's not ECW talk, I'll still do this again. This was so much fun.
A blast. It's really good just getting to hang out with you all, and as we're getting ready to wind down here, the 11 o'clock hour is near. Let me give you all the floor. Do you have anything you want to plug or promote? Obviously, you guys are the Wrecking Crew. You guys are on Saturday nights from 9 to 11.
Yes, sir.
And then Dad Hat, he is also on. He's the man of many hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try
He's the man of many hats. He's you never know what show he's going to pop up on. So
I try to be available. It's hard being a dad,
yeah,
and
yeah,
because that he and my wife are the number one priority. So I mean, I try to be available as much as I can. But yeah, Wednesdays 9 to 11 with Self Bet and Bree for the rest of Wolfpack, and then every Saturday 9 to 11, I get to hang out with this dude.
Yeah. Gets to
And
deal
and
with my
it's
random.
how you're learning the ropes. I'm learning the ropes on more modern deathmatch stuff from him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. There you
Yeah.
go. There you
Absolutely.
go.
And
You gotta love it.
this,
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna plug our show this coming Saturday. We are going to be talking about the WCW Uncensored series. So, if you are familiar with Uncensored and you want a certain match for us to cover, message us.
Yeah.
We will definitely look into it and cover it because there are some really awesome stuff on there and there's some real
Really
suspect
good.
stuff.
Mhm.
So we're going to cover the good, bad, and the ugly on that one. So
There you go.
We're going to WCW.
going
There
down there
you
with them
go.
old Southern wrestler boys.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in to Learning the Ropes this week as we took a deeper dive into the enigma that is ECW. I'm Mr. B Roll, and I'll say it for Mr. XLJ the OG. He is XLJ the OG. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you to our special guests, the Wrecking Crew, Dad Hat Wrestling, Husky Rhodes, the American Cream, himself.
Yes,
We
sir.
thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Raw with Russell, and tune in all week for all your favorite content creator shows. I mean, hey, it's been real. It's been real fun. Seeing it kind of late. I gotta get to bed. I gotta work tomorrow.
And they're with you,
We'll
buddy.
Likewise.
catch. Yep. We'll catch you all later.